Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Norman, and I just started this YouTube channel to talk about something that I've decided to do. Some men have a midlife crisis and buy a sports car, and other men buy lavish boats, but I'm one of the aviation nuts that decided to buy an airplane. And I'm going to be building a Lancair 360 in my garage. So if you don't know what a kit plane is or a Lancair is, it is a build-at-home aircraft that you assemble from a kit, and you do a lot of gluing and a lot of manual labor. It's probably very similar to building radio-controlled airplanes, which I did as a young kid. But I'm really going to focus this on bringing to light a lot of the missing nuances to assembling a kit airplane. There's a lot of older videos for Lancair 360s on YouTube, but there are not any modern videos. So yes, I am filming this while I'm driving, and I actually have the kit in the back of the vehicle right now. So I'm a little excited about this. So let me kind of outline what a Lancair is. Lance Niebauer started an aircraft company more than 30 years ago, and was a pioneer and innovator in composite aircraft construction. And I grew up reading Kit Planes magazines about the success of the Lancair aircraft series. They started with something called the 235, which was a smaller engine variant. And over the next decade, Lancair improved the Lancair kit in a two-place composite, eventually going through the 320 series, which has a Lycoming IO 320, and eventually settling on a Lancair 360, which has a Lycoming IO 360 on it. So that's the largest engine that they put on this airframe. Of course, Lancair went on to develop four-place airplanes, including the famous Lancair 4 and 4P series, and then transitioning into certified aircraft with the Lancair ES series and Super ES, and then ESP. And those variants transitioned into essentially what became the Cessna or Columbia TT, which is a certified aircraft that you can buy from Cessna Aircraft Corporation. So that it tells you a little bit about the success of Lancair in bringing exceptional aircraft designs to market. Now, in some respects, the kits also evolved over time to have faster build components. So at the beginning, they were constructed from many smaller parts, and then over time, as the techniques improved, they also combined parts and or created indexing within the kit to make it easier to assemble the parts, and then eventually creating what they called fast build kits, which is factory assembled sub components or modules that save a substantial amount of time. Now, Lancair Aircraft Corporation sold out quite some time ago and has been acquired by the Huffstettlers, and they have chosen to focus on the newer variants of the Lancair kits, which are the Lancair Legacy and the 4 series. And they have renamed these products Barracuda and the Mako. Now, the reason that I point that out is because the 360, 320 variant is no longer in production. But there's something exceptional about this airplane. It is smaller than a lot of other, the Legacy or the 4, which is a 4-place. and it's much faster than, and much simpler and much less expensive. Whereas the newer kits focus on much larger 550 cubic inch engines, and they do perform at much higher speeds than the 360 series. The 360 kit is remarkable for its fuel efficiency and for its speed for the power. You're commonly looking at an aircraft with a 180 to 200 horsepower engine, topping out at around 260 to 65 miles per hour. And with turbo normalized aircraft getting even more speed at elevation where the air gets thinner, and being able to do so at upwards of 25 miles per gallon. Whereas the newer aircraft, like the Legacy, have the IO 550 engines, or TSIO, turbo normalized 550 size engines, and these engines produce a lot more power and provide for a lot higher top speeds and snappier performance, but it comes at a cost of lower fuel economy and more expense to build. Now, if you fly, you've already discovered that flying is it can be rather expensive, and there are a lot of advantages to a kit plane over flying a certified aircraft. For one, if you are the original builder, according to the FARs, the aviation regulations, you are able to do all of your own work on the aircraft and perform your own annual. Whereas if you buy a Cessna or something else, you can't do that. You have to use a aircraft power plant, or what we call an A&P mechanic, to do all of your work. And this is a considerable expense. Generally, every major kind of repair on the aircraft is considerably more. So it's quite a bit cheaper. And the avionics that you can put in a kit plane can be pretty much anything you want. You don't have to abide by regulations or use certified equipment like you do with commercial aircraft, like Cessnas, for example, in the GA fleet, or general aviation fleet. So this really translates to substantial cost savings to be able to do something that can be very personally rewarding and enjoyable, but can also be used for business, for cross-country travel. And if you think about it, this little airplane, this two-place Lancair 360, is capable of cruising at around 240 miles an hour, 250 miles per hour on a carbureted or fuel-injected engine without a turbo, and do so at 20 to 25 miles per gallon, and take you cross-country in very swift order. And the 360 series is a relatively small aircraft, so it's fuel efficient. It has retractable landing gear, and the entire airframe is built out of, in this case, fiberglass with a Nomex honeycomb core material. This was a popular technology developed in the 80s and 90s, and Nomex honeycomb is actually flame retardant, so the entire airframe will actually not support a fire, even though it's composite, as opposed to Cessnas and so forth that are built out of aluminum.